Part 125. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1241. Lu Zhang handed his youngest son to his wife, walked out and opened the door, and saw Li Shuitian, whose face was covered with scars and looked haggard. "Comrade Shuitian, come in, it's cold outside. It has just entered the 12th lunar month, can it not be cold? But no matter how cold it is, it can't cool people's hearts." Li Shuitian followed Lu Zhang through the gate, but did not enter the house. "I feel cold all over my body, so I won't enter the house. Zhuang is frail and sick, so everyone pays attention to not getting close to Zhuang if the cold air comes into the house in winter. Even if you are cold, you should go inside to warm yourself up." Lu Zhang directly pulled him into the main room. There was a stove burning in the bedroom, and even the living room was filled with warmth, which instantly melted away the coldness in Li Shuitian's body. Seeing the concern on Lu Jiang's face, Li Shuitian's eyes turned sour. "Comrade Commander of the Army, I will leave tomorrow. Thank you for your efforts and your comrades' efforts to prevent Hongzhu and I from being imprisoned." Feng Qingxiu walked out of the bedroom with Zhuang in her arms, frowned and whispered, "What's going on? The child's father and I just started talking, and you came before I had time to ask about the process. Comrade Li Shuitian, Yu Tu Kaozi has almost disappeared from everyone's sight in the past 2 years, so why did he get into such a big trouble without any warning?" Li Shuitian smiled bitterly and said, "We are also confused, sister-in-law. The only thing Hongzhu did wrong in her life was that she falsely accused Comrade Army Commander and her sister-in-law without any real evidence. Fortunately, nothing serious happened, otherwise I would never be able to forgive myself in my life. She changed her mind afterwards. After the incident between Jinhong and Lu Zayadai, she no longer made a fuss about the instructions above and lost her sharpness. I am very pleased. I am really glad that she did not continue to act recklessly. We, as a couple, have nothing to ask for. We just want to live peacefully in this life. How could we expect such a surprise to come to us at the beginning of the new year? Are there no signs at all? Don't you know who reported you?" Feng Qingxiu frowned even more tightly. "Nothing happens without a reason in the world. There must be some conflict of interests. If not, then who are you going to recite what I said a few years ago and use it as a reason to accuse you? It's clear that you are in someone's way." Li Shuitian looked calm. "It is said to be an anonymous report. I don't know who it is. After investigation, Hongzhu did say that, so it is not unjust to punish us. When it comes to who is in the way, there is no one else except Jinhong." When Jinhong was mentioned, Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu looked at each other. Could it be him? Except for the news that Lu Zayadai was pregnant again, they rarely heard bad rumors about Jinhong. After a fight with Lu Zayadai over posting a newspaper, Jinhong, like Li Shuitian, rarely came forward. Feng Qingxiu turned to look at Lu Zhang. "Jiang, can't you investigate and make the decision on this matter? You are the commander of the army. So what about the commander? Have you forgotten about Comrade Ye Zhenjun?" Lu Zhang sighed in a low voice. It was difficult for him to collide with the public. "And the matter of Li Shuitian and Cao Hongzhu did not go through our army. It was directly sent by the headquarters. Take Comrade Li Shuitian and Comrade Cao Hongzhu away. Whoever comes here says that they would rather kill 1,000 people by mistake than let go of one bad element who sabotages the revolution." Feng Qingxiu was stunned. "Take it away. Isn't Li Shuitian standing right in front of him? You were away from home a few days ago, so you were dealing with this matter." Feng Qingxiu quickly reacted, which meant that the incident had happened for several days, but the army and the family compound had just received the news. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1242. Feng Qingxiu is not in the army and stays in the family compound every day to take care of her children. The news is much delayed than usual. If Lu Zhang hadn't told her, she wouldn't have known such a big thing had happened. After listening to Feng Qingxiu's words, Li Shuitian nodded without waiting for Lu Jiang's answer and said, "Yes, sister-in-law, our husband and wife were taken away and tortured for a long time. It was comrade commander of the army and comrades from many troops who came forward. Joint Guarantee asked us to write a letter of apology before bringing us back, but they cannot change the order of expulsion. Things happened too fast and violently, and the couple was taken away without warning, and the charges were still so ridiculous." Cao Hengji's truth-telling back then turned out to be the life-killing blade for the couple. Feng Qingxiu took a closer look and found that Li Shuishan's posture was not normal. There were indeed bruises on his face and the corners of his mouth were cut. Damn it, she didn't dare to say it out loud, so she could only say it in her heart. At this moment, she felt more fear in her heart, because you don't know when the words you said could lead to death for yourself, and you can't even tell the truth. Can you keep your peace by just shutting up? She thought that the two most intense years had passed, and a large number of educated youths had gone to the mountains and countryside, and the situation had eased. It turned out to be a dream. In the evening, Qingxiu and I will go to your house and let Qingxiu check your injuries and prescribe some medicine. Lu Zhang exhaled a long breath. In the face of this situation, there is nothing we can do, because some things are simply impossible. There is no reason. All we can do is send you back home safely, do whatever you need to do, take good care of yourself, and don't forget the training you received in the military camp. I believe that one day you will definitely return to the army." Li Shuitian first looked at Lu Zhang with gratitude. When he heard what happened later, his eyes couldn't help showing a hint of excitement. Is it possible? Is it really possible? I have spent most of my life in the army, and I can't bear to leave. Is there really any chance of coming back? Yes, Lu Zhang said firmly. Okay, comrade commander of the army, I'm waiting at home, waiting for the call of the troops at any time. Li Shuitian saluted him with a standard military salute, holding back the tears in his eyes. Hengju has a stubborn temper and contradicted others at that time. The injury is a bit serious, and the military doctor is not allowed to treat us. Thank you, my sister-in-law, for being willing to treat her injuries. If you want to thank me, I won't say more. But, as long as the army commander, comrade gives the order, and I, Li Shuitian, will go through fire and water, even if I die. It's not a little serious, it's very serious, so serious that it's a bit terrible. Feng Qingxiu did not let Lu Zhang follow. She and Li Shuitian arrived at his house alone. As a result, Guo Xiuying and Wang Sanbao also came quietly. The three of them looked at each other and sighed in a low voice. While treating Cao Hengji's wound, Guo Xiuying whispered, "When you come out, who is watching the child?" "Zhang, I asked Zhang to watch at home. I don't feel at ease when others are watching," Feng Qingxiu replied softly. When Cao Hengji saw the wound being bandaged, Cao Hengji twitched in pain. "Be patient, your injury is too serious. I will be injured for 100 days. I will take good care of myself when I get home. If I have any difficulties, I will send a letter to the army." Cao Hengji gritted his teeth and sweated on his forehead in pain. When he heard Feng Qingxiu's words, tears of regret rolled down his face. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1243. She wanted to say sorry, but she was in so much pain that she couldn't speak because her tongue was seriously injured. Wang Sanbao opened her mouth, and Feng Qingxiu could only see bloody flesh and blood, and she didn't know whether she bit her or someone else bit her. Guo Xiuying sighed loudly. After the three of them bandaged Cao Hongju, she turned to Li Shuitian and said, "Pack your luggage tonight, and I will send you away early tomorrow morning before everyone wakes up. Zhao told me to tell you so that no one would see the bandage and get into trouble again. By then, none of us will be able to get away with it." Li Shuitian said gratefully, "Thank you, sister-in-law, thank you two sisters-in-law, thank you, Sister Sanbao." At this time, we could see how popular they were. With everyone's help, the couple left quietly. By the time some people in the family compound and the army came to their senses, Li Shuitian and Cao Hongju had already left for a long time. At this time, Jin Hong naturally took over Li Shuitian's position and was promoted from deputy to full. After many twists and turns, Lu Zhang finally investigated who the report letter came from. "Who is it?" It was stormy outside, and Feng Qingxiu didn't even want to go out. She was worried that her unintentional words would bring disaster to herself and her family. "It's been almost half a month, right? We finally found it?" Lu Zhang nodded slightly. "Zhang Wei has made great achievements. This guy knows the people in the headquarters." Zhang Wei, Feng Qingxiu hadn't thought of Zhang Xiaoyu's nephew for a long time. "I remember that he won the third-class merit award last year. He has been promoted, right? He is worthy of being a general." After saying this, she asked, "Tell me, who is it? We should be on guard." "It's pretty much what we guessed. He's the person you were thinking of." Lu Zhang sighed deeply, with a sinister look in his eyes. This was truly an era where honest people were conscientious while villains were arrogant and domineering. "Jin Hong? Or Lu Zayadai?" Feng Qingxiu asked immediately. Lu Zhang replied, "Jin Hong." Feng Qingxiu was stunned. "Why don't you give up? If he applies his conspiracy to the army, it seems that his honesty is just an illusion. Isn't it an anonymous report letter? How can you still find it?" Lu Zhang said vaguely. After some effort, Zhang Wei obtained the original report letter based on someone he knew. Even if it is an anonymous report letter, the handwriting cannot be changed. Jin Hong was also smart and wrote a chicken claw calligraphy with his left hand. Unfortunately, the paper and pen and ink betrayed him. Zhang Wei was a very naughty boy. He first suspected Jin Hong, so he secretly sneaked into Jin Hong's office and took Jin Hong's. The notebook was stolen, and whatever was written on it would leave traces on the next page even across the paper. This is how Zhang Wei concluded that it was Jin Hong who did it. Feng Qingxiu heard this and whispered, "What are you going to do? Are you really going to let Jin Hong occupy the position that belongs to Li Shuitian? Although Jin Hong has no faults at work, his character is not. He rose to the top through intrigues and tricks, but fell down from the beginning. Let him have fun for a while first, and you will have plenty of time to deal with him." Lu Zhang said in a sharp tone, "Didn't you say it before? A dog can't change what he eats. His lifestyle is not correct, and it's not just a day or two. If we can use Cao Hongju's past words to achieve our goals, why can't we retaliate in kind? The reason for not moving him temporarily is because something happened to Li Shuitian just now. If he causes problems again, it will easily shake the morale of the army and cause everyone to panic. This is the result of everyone's joint discussion." Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1244. After listening to Lu Jiang's words, Feng Qingxiu felt that Jin Hong was temporarily advantaged, but she couldn't help but cursed, "I hope Lu Zayadai will still be a daughter this time, and let her curse us Zhuang and let her husband do this such a despicable thing. Doesn't Jin Hong just want a son? Let him be his father-in-law for the rest of his life." No one told her about the fight between Lu Zayadai and Feng Qingyun at first, for fear that she would get angry. At that time, Zhuang was critically ill, and she fell ill later. If she got angry again, it would be difficult to deal with, so no one mentioned it to the couple. It was not until Bai Shui gave birth to her daughter recently that she went to visit that she heard about it. She was so angry that she almost rushed over to settle the score with Lu Zayadai. Everyone said that Lu Zayadai was pregnant again, so she didn't go. Lu Zhang smiled after hearing this. Father-in-law's fate? This word is new. Jin Hong was promoted, and the happiest person was Lu Zayadai. She walked around the courtyard with a bulging belly. She felt that her husband's promotion after becoming pregnant must be the good luck brought by the child, which meant that it must be a son. Seeing Tianling coming out of the service club with a basket, Lu Zayadai deliberately walked around in front of her with her belly bulging out. Every time she saw Tianling, she would think of the past when the two sisters, Jin Zayadai and Jin Pundi, were fostered in Tianling's house. At that time, everyone gave a thumbs up when talking about Tianling, and they laughed at herself. From then on, Lu Zayadai hated Tianling, not to mention the time when she pushed Bai Shui. Tianling said calmly, "Comrade Lu Zayadai, you are blocking my way." "Oh, it's true, I didn't see it." Lu Zayadai's belly bulge was not obvious, but she still pushed it hard. How could Tianling not see what Lu Zayadai was thinking? She hid the slight bitterness in her heart and smiled rudely, "Your eyes are not working well. You have to go to the doctor to see if you have any eye disease. Don't come here until now when you're middle-aged, you can no longer see right from wrong." "What did you say?" Lu Zayadai was furious. "I promised dogs not to block the road." After Tianling finished speaking, she walked away, making Lu Zayadai jump in anger. Although Warren's level is not as good as that of Jin Hong, Tianling is not afraid of Lu Zayadai. She has offended so many people without even realizing it. Do you really think that Lu Zhang and Su Junlin are easy to bully? It's just that now I'm busy taking care of the children, so I can't spare any time. When Feng Qingxiu heard Tianling mention how she met Lu Zayadai, the corners of her mouth curled up slightly, and a trace of disgust flashed in her eyes. "Sister Tian, fry the meat and stew it with the dried beans I soaked in the morning. If you don't mention her, it will be annoying to mention her. Let's wait until she has given birth." No matter how much Feng Qingxiu hated Lu Zayadai, she still worried about what was in her belly. The child cannot be treated during her pregnancy. This is the rule of life. If she does whatever it takes, won't she end up like Jin Hong, Lu Zayadai, and others? Tianling knew Feng Qingxiu's character, so she responded and went to deal with the piece of pork belly she just bought. She felt nothing when washing vegetables and cutting meat. The strong smell of oily smoke when cooking made her feel nauseous. After finally enduring the feeling of vomiting, Tianling cooked the vegetables and brought them to the table. Tianling turned around and vomited. "Sister Tian, what's wrong with you?" Feng Qingxiu had just coaxed several children to sleep, and reached out to feel her pulse. She raised her brows and showed a hint of joy in her eyes. "Sister Tian, you are pregnant, more than 2 months old." Tianling, who was squatting in front of the spittoon and vomiting, was stunned for a moment. "What? Qingxiu, what did you say?" Tianling's face was filled with disbelief. Did she hear some incredible news? Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1245. Feng Qingxiu handed a jar of water to her mouth and gave her a drink to rinse her mouth. She repeated what she just said. "You are serious too, Sister Tian, don't you think you haven't been here for 2 months? Tianling murmured, "I thought it was because I was old. After all, I am 41 this year." Before taking menstruation pills, she would take them once a month or two. From the initial surprise to the final disappointment, she had become accustomed to it over the years. Grabbing Feng Qingxiu's hand, Tianling stared into her eyes. "Qingxiu, tell me again, I'm afraid I heard wrong." "Sister Tian, you are pregnant for more than 2 months. I was right and you heard me right. Congratulations, you and Comrade Zhou will be able to have a baby this year." After saying this, Feng Qingxiu felt a little bit something was wrong. After thinking about it, I realized that the current solar calendar month is January and the lunar calendar month is the 12th lunar month. The older generation likes to talk about the lunar calendar when giving birth. He hurriedly added, I am talking about this year in the solar calendar. If calculated according to the lunar calendar, probably in July or August next year. Tianling suddenly covered her face with her hands and started to cry. The surprise came so suddenly that she didn't know how to express her joy. Feng Qingxiu understood her mood, and when she had finished crying, she handed over a handkerchief. Okay, eldest sister, this is a happy thing, why are you crying? I know you are crying with joy, but you have to take care of yourself. Tianling immediately stopped crying, took the handkerchief and wiped her face randomly. Thank you Qingxiu, without your help, I definitely wouldn't be here today. She touched her belly carefully. Whether he is a boy or a girl, it is a big surprise for me and Laozhou. What a big baby. I'm so old, Qingxiu, what should I pay attention to? Feng Qingxiu thought for a while and said with a smile, although you are not young, you are strong and strong. There is nothing you need to pay special attention to. You just need to add more nutrition and don't tire yourself out. Upon hearing this, Tianling hurriedly said, I'm only 2 months pregnant, but I can still work. Don't let me do it. When she was 8 or 9 months pregnant, she was still working in the fields in her hometown. What kind of work was washing clothes and cooking? Not tired at all. Now that she has a child, she needs money even more. She needs to supplement her nutrition and buy milk powder for her child. If she doesn't have milk, she must prepare the money for milk powder. Feng Qingxiu was stunned for a moment, then reacted immediately and said with a smile, Sister Tian, if you say you quit suddenly, I will be in trouble. I don't know where to find someone as good as you to help with housework. Don't worry, I don't mean to fire you. We will go home in March or April, and your belly will be a little bigger by then. You can have a good time while we are away. What do you think? Of course, if you feel that you can't do it, you need to will find someone else to take care of the baby in her belly. I can do it, Tianling said impatiently, I will work for you for a few more months to save some money for milk powder for the child. And if I feel uncomfortable, you can help me check it out. I am grateful to you. It's too late. Tianling didn't want to quit, and Feng Qingxiu didn't want to fire her, so everyone was happy. However, Feng Qingxiu gave her some of her red dates, longan and other nutritional supplements, saying it was a reward for her serious attitude towards work. In fact, she was worried about Tianling's anemia and had made preparations in advance. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1246. Not long after the New Year, Tianling was 3 months pregnant. At this time, the news gradually spread, which shocked everyone even more than Bai Shui's pregnancy. Bai Shui is young, and it is reasonable to have children. After all, an 80-year-old man can still have children if he marries a young wife. Tianling is 41, and she has not been pregnant for many years after losing her son. Everyone thought that she could not give birth. Bai Shui remembered Tianling's help very clearly. He was very happy for her when he learned that she was pregnant. Didn't Lu Zayadai scold you? Sister Tian, try hard to have a son and make her mad. Bai Shui came to Feng Qingxiu's house with her 4-month-old daughter in her arms. Looking at Tianling's busy figure, let's curse that Lu Zayadai together have another daughter. Although Feng Qingxiu also viciously cursed Lu Zayadai, she still said, whether it is a boy or a girl, it is determined the moment you are born. The implication is that men will not change into women or women into men because of the curse. What they are saying now is just to make themselves happy. Apart from showing the narrow-mindedness of women, it has no practical meaning. Bai Shui curled her lips, just like Lu Zayadai. Let me see, she was born without a son. She didn't have sex even if she gave birth to a son. She pushed me in the first place. If it weren't for my poor fetal condition during pregnancy, I would have to raise her. Yes, I've already torn her mouth off. But I won't let her go. We'll see how long it takes. Feng Qingxiu and she had the same hatred. Who asked Lu Zayadai to curse Chuang? While they were talking against Lu Zayadai, Mother Yang suddenly came. After Yang's mother came in, she held Tianling and talked for a while. She felt extremely envious in her heart, and then she said to Feng Qingxiu, I told Feng Ying to take care of herself, and she and Fang Ning led the art team out to perform. Yes, I heard they are on some isolated island now. Isolated island? How did you get there? Wasn't it still in the southeast military region on New Year's Day? Feng Qingxiu asked. Mother Yang sighed, we were in the southeast military region on New Year's Day. Yesterday I heard Shang Kun say that after receiving a telegram from Feng Ying, they set off to some small island on the sea. There were only a few soldiers stationed on it. 20 or 30 of them performed for the audience. Those dozen soldiers admired it. After hearing this, Feng Qingxiu was very worried about Feng Qingyun, wondering if there would be any danger. Don't worry, there is nothing to worry about. They are all soldiers and have strict discipline. Mother Yang was worried before, but she is no longer worried. Although there are few soldiers stationed on the island, we cannot exclude others. We have to let them go. They enjoyed the performance they deserved. There were more than a dozen soldiers on the island. It was good. In the past, Feng Ying and others performed with a group, and there were only 50 people performing for 3 soldiers. Now I only worry about one thing, she has been there for a year and a half. Zaidi and Shangkun are living in 2 different places. With her temperament, I don't think she insists on taking the medicine you prescribed her. When can I have my grandson? Yang Fengying's condition is more serious, and Feng Qingxiu cannot determine whether there is a problem with her ovaries, uterus, and fallopian tubes just by looking, hearing, smelling, and asking. Listening to what Yang's mother said, she can only say that Yang Fengying is serious and responsible and a good comrade. Tianling heard what they said and hurriedly slipped out on the pretext of washing diapers. It seems that her pregnancy has really shocked and envied many people. She should keep a low profile in the future and not touch other people's scars. Looking at Tianling's back, Mother Yang whispered, I wish Feng Ying was not so serious and responsible. She didn't dare to speak loudly, for fear of being heard by others and saying that she was dissatisfied with the work the country had arranged for Yang Feng Ying and others. The lessons learned from Cao Hongji's past were still there. Feng Qingxiu understood Yang's mother's concerns and smiled at her but did not answer. Bai Shui only looked down at her daughter, not knowing whether she heard it or not. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1247. Bai Shui's daughter's nickname is Yaya, and her first name is Su Minmin. It is said that Su Junlin thought about it for a lot of time and decided on a good name. The original name was Su Xiaoxiu, but Bai Shui rejected it. She didn't look like Bai Shui, her eyes were neither big nor small, and her nose was small. Neither flat nor straight, her face neither round nor square. Her only advantage is that she has fair skin, eats well and is fat, making her very cute. Yang's mother sat at the Lu family and left. Although she didn't have to take care of Feng Qingxiu, she had to take care of her wife. Bai Shui complained to Feng Qingxiu, who do you think Yaya looks like? No matter how I look at it, I feel that she is not like me, but not like Lao Su and his family. Of his family members, I annoy every one of them, and none of them look good. Dijun, it's a lot of trivial things every day. Before I came here, Lao Su's sisters-in-law were causing a lot of trouble, and it only stopped in the past few years because of the revolution. She had a hand in it at the time, and now I don't know who lost and who won among them, but I haven't heard of Sujuncha's divorce, which shows that Lu Hongxiu is still very capable and didn't let those houses be driven away. Feng Qingxiu pursed her lips and smiled. You used to say it didn't matter if it was a boy or a girl. What do you care about appearance now? It doesn't matter if it's a boy. I have a good family background and I have some abilities. I won't be afraid of not marrying a good-looking wife in the future. Girls are different. It took a lot of effort for me to give birth to such a daughter. Of course, she must be better looking. The better looking girl is. The less you worry about marrying a good family, Bai Shui said plausibly. Don't look at all the talk about having a good family background and a good mind. It's all nonsense. How many gay men really do it? What the eye sees is appearance, nothing else. Feng Qingxiu listened and said, is this your experience? Bai Shui coughed twice and said nothing. Let me tell you, Bai Shui, don't pass on to your daughter the ideas your mother's family instilled in you when you were a child. You have suffered a lot yourself, so why bother to mislead the next generation? Feng Qingxiu said, your daughter, unlike you, she is Mr. Su's old daughter and does not need to fight to marry into a good family. Being a serious person is more important than anything else. Bai Shui's heart moved, and she lowered her head silently, just in time to see Fu Bao's big round eyes. Her eyes are very beautiful, like two black jade dots in white mercury, and like two small stars in the sky. It turned out that Fu Bao had walked up to her at some point, standing on tiptoes to look at the swaddled Yaya. When Bai Shui wasn't paying attention, he secretly stretched out his little finger and tapped Yaya's cheek. Sister. She quickly retracted her hand and kept a straight face. What's wrong? Don't you like your sister? Bai Shui specially sent his daughter to her. Fu Bao looked confused. When she grows up, will she steal my hairpin? Steal my necklace? Steal my incense? Bai Shui couldn't help but laugh. So when your mother was pregnant with triplets, this was why you called her brother instead of sister every day? Don't worry, Sister Yaya won't steal your things. Fu Bao then showed a sweet smile, looking particularly delicate and beautiful. Qingxiu, you are really good at giving birth. Bai Shui was extremely envious. Fu Bao is the most handsome boy in our compound. Fu Bao is the most beautiful little girl. She will be a big boy like you when she grows up. Beauty, the triplets each have their own merits, they are all smart and handsome, they are like a dragon and a phoenix. Even Feng Qingyun is only slightly inferior to Feng Qingxiu. Now she is young and deliberately looks ugly. In a few years, I don't know what she will look like. The name of Yi Zhiwa in the art team will definitely be fell on her. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiong Xiong woke up from his nap. The first thing he did was cry, and then he woke up his brother and brother. 3 cries came one after another, and Yaya cried too. Bai Shui was in a hurry, and was no longer in the mood to say that the triplets were cute. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1248. It is easy to take care of one child, but it is difficult to take care of 3 children, especially the children who can walk. After the new year, the weather gets warmer. Dun Dun and Xiong Xiong always want to run out. As soon as they turn around, they are nowhere to be seen in the house. When they look again, they have walked to the yard with their short legs. Sometimes they continued to move out hand in hand, not forgetting to look around to see if anyone had noticed them. Fortunately, the door was always closed and they couldn't get out. Under such circumstances, it would be unreasonable for Feng Qingxiu not to take them out. She should take them out, but she would not be able to take care of them. Fu Bao was young and strong enough to hold him, and Tianling was pregnant. She was always more cautious when pregnant at an older age. If something happened, Feng Qingxiu couldn't bear it. Who didn't know that Lu Zayadai was a madman? She was pregnant with her 4th child, which coincided with Jin Hong's promotion. She wandered around the compound all day long. She almost pushed Bai Shui down before, so who knew she wouldn't be able to deal with Tianling. Lu Zayadai is incomprehensible and cannot be inferred by common sense. The number of military family members in the family compound is increasing year by year. Who can guarantee that everyone is gentle, kind, and will not cause trouble? Just when Feng Qingxiu was worried about not being able to take her children out to play, Guan Cheng, Lu Tianzi, and Guan Yu arrived. Father Lu just considered that Feng Qingxiu could not take care of 4 children by himself, and one of them, Zhuang, was particularly worrying, so he asked their brothers to help take care of them until the weather got warmer before setting off on the road home. Zibao is coming too. If we don't bring him, he will cry, Lu Tianzi said. When she heard that her eldest son was crying, Feng Qingxiu felt very distressed. Are you crying hard? Was he feeling better when you came? Guancheng said hurriedly, Grandpa Lu told him that we are here to pick you up and your younger brothers and sisters. Zibao stopped crying immediately, wiped away his tears and told us that we must take you home. If you can't take you back, we will leave you alone. Feng Qingxiu smiled and said, Go home, we must go home. We will set off in early April. Great, the house hasn't been so lively for a long time. Guan Yu clapped his hands, missing the days when Feng Qingxiu was at home. Just as he was talking, Guan Cheng felt his legs tighten. Looking down, he didn't know whether it was Dun Dun or Xiong hugging his legs, pointing his little finger towards the door. That's Xiong. He wants to go out and play, Feng Qingxiu said. Guan Cheng responded, Okay, brother will take you out to play. He held out a finger, and Bear immediately took it. Dun Dun was sitting on the Kong playing, and when he saw this, he rushed to Guan Yu and said, Ah! Guan Yu understood and hugged him down. Dun Dun was better and more honest. Xiong had a chance to have some fun, and Guan Cheng personally had to keep an eye on him everywhere. In the front are the 3 Guancheng brothers holding Fubao, Dun Dun, and Xiong, and in the back is Feng Qingxiu holding Zhuang, which is a spectacular sight. The spring sun is very warm, especially at midnight. Feng Qingxiu often took her children to bask in the sun in the yard, but they came out very rarely, so when they arrived on the vast grassland, the triplets screamed, and Dun Dun and Xiong instantly fell on the grass. Anyway, the fall didn't hurt, so Feng Qingxiu just pretended not to see it. Dun Dun and Xiong ran so fast. Can Zhuang still not know how to walk? On the way, she met Wang Sanbao, who was out for a walk after work today. She glanced at Zhuang worriedly. His little face was crystal clear and he was too beautiful to be true. Zhuang really looks better as he grows longer. She's also very clingy. Feng Qingxiu pursed her lips and smiled. Wang Sanbao clapped his hands to Zhuang. Can Zhuang come down and walk? Look, my brothers are walking in front. Oh, brother Xiong is rolling on the grass. Are you ashamed to let your mother hold you? Zhuang's reaction was to bury his face in Feng Qingxiu's arms and turn his back to Wang Sanbao. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1249. Feng Qingxiu held his butt up and said with a smile, this child developed a little later, so he is always 1 step slower than his 2 brothers, ah no, 3 steps slower. Now he can stand up, step on the legs can stand up. Otherwise, there is nothing wrong. She has carefully examined her son. He is just born weak and has a little developmental delay. He speaks fluently than his 2 brothers, but he doesn't like to talk much. Wang Sanbao nodded, you took good care of me and taught us all a hard lesson. Speaking of Zhuang, who doesn't envy her for having a good mother? In the eyes of many doctors, A child like Zhuang is not easy to feed. However, although he has had minor ailments such as colds, fevers, and coughs every 3 days over the past year, he has grown up peacefully. Still looks good and no longer looks like he died young. Feng Qingxiu said softly, I am the child's mother. In one sentence, she explained that her care for Zhuang was justified, and of course she was grateful for the role played by her medical skills. The cheers of Dun Dun and Xiong came over, and Zhuang turned his head to look over. Does Zhuang want to play too? Feng Qingxiu hurriedly took him over and put him on the ground to stand. Of course, he put his hands on Zhuang's armpits so that he didn't have to worry about falling. Both brothers and sisters are over there, please go over there, okay. Zhuang raised his foot, hesitated for a moment, and then put it back down. Feng Qingxiu encouraged, Zhuang, be good. Zhuang is so awesome. Can Zhuang take 2 steps to show his mother? Mom, Zhuang turned around and opened his arms for her to hug. After standing for such a short time, the little guy felt tired. It was obvious that his legs were weak and wanted to slide down. Feng Qingxiu sighed, quickly picked him up in her arms, and headed towards Guancheng and the others. Direction. The beautiful little guy smiled sweetly and rubbed his cheek against Feng Qingxiu's. Mom. Seeing him like this, Feng Qingxiu felt soft-hearted for no reason. Feng Qingxiu knew that this was not going to work. She had to train him to stand and walk steadily. She could not let him rely on herself, so he originally planned to set off in early April, half a month earlier. The one who was most reluctant to leave was of course Lu Zhang, who looked pitifully at his wife packing her luggage. Light snow. Except for Zhuang, the other children were not at home. He called out, and then called out again, and called out again. Zhuang, who was sitting on the Kong playing in the Kong, turned his head in surprise and looked at him strangely. Mom. Feng Qingxiu responded, turned around, looked at Lu Zhang, and suddenly smiled. What do you look like? He looked pitiful and had the same expression as when Xiong couldn't drink milk powder. I can't bear to leave you. Lu Zhang put his hands around her waist and put his face on her shoulder. It's hard to live a life together day and night, and you're back home again. Are we destined to be separated often? Feng Qingxiu hugged him with her backhand and patted his lower back. We will go back and live for a while, no more than a year and a half. Unknowingly, Zibao has been living alone with his father at home for a year. I miss him very much. We can't ignore him because of ourselves, even if it is for the sake of let the child study hard and make progress every day, and we should not let him become a left behind child and leave indelible scars on his childhood. Lu Zhang sighed, you only see children, as if you don't have me. Who said there wasn't? Feng Qingxiu immediately pushed him away, put her hands on his shoulders, and raised her head to face his face. You looked at my face, you looked into my eyes. Did you say there was? You have. All you see is yourself. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1250. Zhuang found that his parents were ignoring him, and he suddenly became very angry. He grabbed the little iron frog and threw it to the ground. With a bang, he woke up his parents, who were staring at him affectionately. Mom, Zhuang yelled, with a look of dissatisfaction on his face. Lu Zhang whispered unhappily, what a little nuisance. Among the triplets, he was the most attached to his wife and never left her. Feng Qingxiu pinched him, what do you care about with a child? Zhuang, mother is here. Mother hurts Zhuang the most. Can mother help Zhuang up? As he said this, he stretched out his hand. Zhuang held her arm and stood up shakily, his legs still shaking a little. Zhuang is so awesome. Zhuang stood up, can you take 2 steps? Feng Qingxiu helped him move forward, but the little guy let out a puff and sat back on the Kong, his little mouth flattened, as if crying. not crying. With Zhuang like this, how can he not let his parents worry about him? Going home is imminent. Feng Qingxiu hugged her youngest son and directed Lu Zhang to pack his luggage. After he finished packing, he suddenly said, "You don't have to open the fire alone when we are not at home. You usually live in the dormitory and eat in the cafeteria, but you have to remember, please, don't mess with some young girls. I have many friends in the family compound who will inform me. You are my little girl, there is no other little girl." Lu Zhang blurted out, 10 years ago, I was so young and handsome that no one looked down on me. 10 years later, I am now extremely old. Do you think others regard me as a treasure like you? Old. Feng Qingxiu stared at him. At the age of 37, he is mature, stable, and full of charm. How can he be called old? Moreover, as a result of his high position and authority, he has developed a strong aura, which is vividly displayed in his movements. Among thousands of people, he is the crane that stands out from the crowd. It's not that I regard you as a treasure, you are a treasure now. 10 years ago you were a deputy commander, and now you are an army commander. What does army commander mean? Do you need me to remind you? The commander of an army is in charge of an army. There are little girls in the army who are qualified to participate in the big meeting in the capital and want to get something for nothing. In my place, she will be the majestic wife of the army commander. Feng Qingxiu looked up and down, and suddenly said to him seriously, "Lu Zhang, you have to remember this for me. Keep it deeply in your mind. When I am not around, without anyone accompanying you, you are not allowed to talk to young lesbians casually, you are not allowed to agree to help young lesbians casually, you are not allowed to let young lesbians get close, you are not allowed to." Lu Zhang stretched out his head and kissed her chattering mouth. "Don't worry, my wife, except for a few children, there is no third person between us in this life. I will never look at others twice," he made an oath. Zhuang saw it, pursed his lips, gave his mother a kiss on the mouth, and turned to face his father's angry eyes. "Ah," Zhuang looked confused. "You brat," Lu Zhang growled, "when you grow up, why are you kissing your wife? Why are you kissing my wife?" Zhuang put his arms around Feng Qingxiu's neck. "Mom." Lu Zhang was so angry that he stretched out his hand and slapped his butt gently. He still couldn't understand his hatred and said bitterly, "Wife, I have to make a 3-part agreement with you. I am not allowed to let Zhuang kiss you, and I am not allowed to let Zhuang follow you. You are not allowed to hug Zhuang when you sleep.